presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. The rivalry renewed. It's the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. Game 2 from Busch Stadium. Last time out Thursday afternoon, Jaime Garcia, one of the best starts we've seen ever at Busch Stadium 3. He went the distance, gave up just one hit, a complete game shutout of the Milwaukee Brewers. He'll get the call tonight against Jason Hammel and the Cubs. That is Al Hrabosky, the Mad Hungarian. Jim Hayes is with us as well. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jaime Garcia, what do we expect tonight?
Well, more of the same. He owns Busch Stadium. He likes pitching against the Cubs, a lifetime 2 ERA, and is still in the month of April, his winningest month all time. But he was so special, the best game of his career last time out. Hopefully, he will be teaching the Cub hitters like Lackey did last night.
All right. Well, we know he was special last time out. We know this man is special to all of us. It's a night in which we honor number 20, the great Lou Brock. We'll have more on that throughout our telecast. The Cubs and Cardinals comes up next.
fly ball to right field. The Cubs are back on top. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. This game is over.
Did he get all of this one? Yes, he did.
It is deep. Man alive, Daniel Murphy. And strike 3 called.
The Cubs rolled through the Cardinals in the postseason of that division series as they knocked out 10 home runs but did not have an answer for Daniel Murphy, the league championship MVP of the Mets, as they were swept out of postseason play. The next step, get by them, get by the Cardinals, head to the World Series. Jaime Garcia has something to do with that. He'll get the call tonight. Garcia, the Cardinals, comes your way next. Jaime Garcia, and away we go for game number 2. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Well, today the Cardinals kick off STL is Lou. Chicago Cubs are in town, so a perfect time to do this. Along with Jim Hayes, Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. All season long, fans are encouraged to buy a Lou Brock button. You may have seen that we were wearing that Brock button. Lou has it on there. We had it on during our open. And the proceeds from that purchase will benefit children with diabetes. The Cardinals also are encouraging fans on social media to tell the world why Brock is important. Use the hashtag STLIsLou. What a player, Mr. Raboski.
Well, no doubt about it. The National League stolen base leader, second all time, but he owns the National League record. Hall of Famer, sure, he would have done that even without the stolen bases because he had over 3,000 hits. And in the World Series, he has some of the highest batting averages you ever see. 391 career average in World Series, and also stolen base records in the World Series.
The number 20 etched into the dirt here at the ballpark as Dexter Fowler, the switch hitting leadoff man for the Chicago Cubs, will start things off. Followed by Jason Hayward, then Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Jorge Soler, Ben Zobrist, Miguel Montero, Addison Russell, and the pitcher Jason Hammel. On the mound for the Cardinals, it was just over 100 pitches on Thursday afternoon It'll be Jaime Garcia coming off a one-hit complete game against the Brewers, and he was almost unhittable.
Absolutely. You know, Mike Matheny reminds people almost every day. He says he has the stuff to throw a no-hitter, and people probably don't believe it, but he does have that type of stuff.
And the first pitch is a strike. In that game, he struck out 13 Brewers. That was a career high, and most by a Cardinal lefty since Steve Carlton had 16 against the Phillies back in 1970. Here's the 0-1. Another aspect of that game, the ground balls, and that's when you really know Garcia is pitching well. A lot of ground balls. He had 13 ground ball outs.
And Dan, that's why his pitch count was so low with the 13 strikeouts, because he's pitching to contact.
Home plate umpire is Jerry Davis.
See, they make it a conscious effort to call a lot of more high pitches this year. Fowler questioned that one, but that is a mark where they're trying to call more strikes to get more offense.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And the next to the switch hitting Fowler. Homered last night, and he might be the hottest player right now in all of baseball. He's been on base 28 times in 45 at bats. A lot of walks, a lot of hits.
But 0 for 9 against Jaime.
And the 2-2.
When Jaime's on, he'll keep the ball down there. Then it has terrific movement. We talk about how difficult it is to catch him. So if it's tough to catch him, it's tough to center the bat on the ball, and that's what makes him so tough.
Full count delivery inside and a leadoff walk. 65th walk for the Cubs this year, most in baseball coming into play tonight. Our BJC Healthcare difference maker is Jaime Garcia. And some of the numbers for Jaime in that start on Thursday. And the reason you hear that, well, that means Jason Hayward's digging in.
Sure.
A lot of boos.
Sure, Jim Hayes will tell you a little bit more about Hayward's reaction or to the boos, what he felt as time goes along. But Jaime only walked 1 in his pitching gem the last time out.
Hayward last night 0 for 4. He lined out to second, also lined out to right. And I mentioned the ball that he hit to second was 110 miles an hour. So this is a guy that we've seen puts the bat on the ball, it jumps off his bat. Off to a slow start, hitting 188. Got off to a slow start with the Cardinals a year ago. 0-1 pitch. Hayward signed the second largest contract for an outfielder in baseball history. $184 million. Giancarlo Stanton, the largest contract at $325 million.
About twice as much. It's incredible, isn't it?
It is. A peek at Fowler by Molina. And the pitch is taken high.
Think about that, Danny, whether it's Hayward's contract or it's Stanton's contract. Remember 1969 when we saw those Cardinal Hall of Famers down there. Bob Gibson, Lou Brock, Tim McCarver. All those guys were on the team in '69 when they were on the cover of Sports Illustrated with the first $1 million contract. That was adding Red salary and the 40-man roster, and it really wasn't even quite $1 million. But
well, Roger Maris was on there.
Maris was on there. You know,
Mike Shannon.
Shannon was on there. Maxville. Javier. Come off to 64, 67, lost in 68, but their salaries got way up there.
Here's a 1-2. Up the middle. Glove by the shortstop. No catch out there, so they'll get the lead man. Tejada playing his first game with the Cardinals tonight. Stabs that liner, was able to knock it down, and they get the lead man. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense for the Cardinals. Holiday in left. Grichuk in center. Hazelbaker is in right. Carpenter, Ruben Tejada, Wong and Adams along the infield, and Molina is behind the plate.
Boy, there's problems. And here you see the hanger up there. Tejada knocks it down. It was a tough play. You know, Fowler was in no man's land. He didn't know if it was a catch. He was going to have to get back. So they get the force out, but they do not get Hayward at first. He's hit 3 balls really hard, 0 for 5 in the series.
And a strike to Chris Bryant, who has struggled so far against left-handed pitching. Just 2 for 15.
If you make a good pitch, you'll get him out. If you don't make a good pitch, he's got a chance to really burn you. That goes along whether it's lefty-lefty, righty-righty.
And the 0-1. Slowly hit up the third base line, and no play for Carpenter. An infield hit for Bryant. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Jaime Garcia. Let's take a look. He's got the changeup, the fastball, the curveball, mixes in a slider.
Yeah, he's got the 5 pitches, so he's got the 2 and the 4 seam fastballs. Then your other conventional pitches, but every one moves. I've already seen in this first inning, though, he's gotten a few balls up, and he's had some bad luck. Now he needs that ground ball. Let him turn 2, get out of the inning, get on offense.
Anthony Rizzo leads the Cubs in RBIs with 11. Hitting just 174. Runners at first and second and 1 out. The shift is on here for Rizzo, and that's strike 1.
Yeah, we can see from our vantage point looking down on the field that Rizzo looks like he's hanging way over the plate. One of the reasons why he gets hit by so many pitches.
He's always done that. You know, hanging over the middle of the plate. He does not bail against left-handed pitching with a breaking ball.
Where the hands are, they'll get set, they'll move even further towards the plate.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Hit to second, could be 2, bobbled by Long. Boy, the defense of the Cardinals has been poor to start this year. That's a tailor-made double play.
Danny, what's so alarming is the fact that it's all from the infield. I mean, they lead majors in errors. There's no error here, but it's a tailor-made double play. They only get a force out. But I mean, that's 2 balls that, with a little luck, you've got 2 double plays in this inning.
So 2 outs and 2 on for Jorge Soler. He's batting .216. Runners at second and third.
Soler almost a 400 hitter here at Busch Stadium.
What's been interesting about the defense, Al, is that with Wong, it's the balls that are hit right at him. If he has to go to his right, he makes exceptional plays. And then with Diaz, it's the easy plays, if you will, and the throws that have cost him.
Right. Well, we always talk, you know, it's most important to make the routine plays and occasionally a spectacular one. But even if you don't make the spectacular, you have to make the routine. Good change up there. That could be a very, very good pitch for Jaime today with all these free swinging cubbies.
1 ball, 1 strike. The errors most now in the National League for the Cardinals at 15. We saw Cincinnati with 14 over the weekend, and really on both sides the defense struggled. Here's a 1-1. The manager of the year in 2015 was Joe Madden, who grew up a Cardinals fan and asked Tim McCarver to bring Bob Gibson down to the office today, and those two had a chance to chat, as he has a great understanding of Cardinals history.
That's similar to when the first time he came here with Tampa Bay, he wanted to meet Stan the Man.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Now 2-2. He told me last year he wrote a letter to Harry Carey, and he still has it framed at his restaurant, and it was on Busch Bavarian letterhead. Harry Carey writing back Joe Madden as he used to listen to the games in Pennsylvania on KMOX. And now he's the enemy, Al.
He's been a difference maker for the Cubs, hasn't he?
I think he, preaches just to relax in what is a pressurized situation. The 2-2. Ooh, just missed on the inside corner.
Boy, there's two pitches that I know Jaime, and you look like looking in, our home plate umpire, Jerry Davis, the crew chief, that he thought he had Soler.
Jerry Davis calling the balls and strikes. Sam Holbrook at first, Rob Drake at second, and Carlos Torres is down at third. 2 outs, 2 on, and a 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. Garcia pitches around the miscues on a night in which we honor number 20, the great Lou Brock. Everyone appreciates the Hall of Famer. The Cardinals lineup with Matt Carpenter, Jeremy Hazelbaker, and Matt Holliday, followed by Adams, Grichuk, Molina, Wong, Tejada, and Jaime Garcia batting ninth. Cardinals facing Jason Hammel, who's in his 3rd season with Chicago. Last year, 31 starts. He was 10-7, and tonight is his 50th start as a Chicago Cub.
And really, it's only found success with Chicago. 33, won't turn to 34 till September. Dan, he had a good first half last year. You know, he was only a 10-game winner, and I think it's the 4th time he's won 10 games. But he injured himself in a hamstring trying to cover first base in a game against the Cardinals in July.
And that was at Wrigley Field right before the break. Right. He had 17 starts in the first half. His ERA was under 3. After that, ERA over 5 in the second half of the season. Here's a 1-1. And Carpenter lifts a fly ball down the left field line. Soler is over and out of room. Talked to Matt Carpenter before the game, and you notice how he rocks back. Lays the bat on the shoulder, will rock back and then rock in. And he said he did this as a young kid to not dip his back shoulder. Stay tall, stay through the ball is what he said, and now it's been used as a timing mechanism. And there it is, little rock back. He'll do it again. Hits it out of play. And I was watching batting practice, and when he rocks back and goes into the ball, it's almost perfect, you know, rhythm into the baseball in which he's driving it out of the ballpark. And so he's using it for 2 different reasons, not to dip, but also for timing.
course, a little easier during batting practice when probably the highest pitch you see is about 75.
And this time he strikes out. 13th time that Carpenter has struck out this year. That was the theme of the game for the Cardinals offense last night. A lot of strikeouts. Cubs defensively, Soler, Fowler, Hayward in the outfield, Bryant, Russell, Zobrist, and Rizzo on the infield, Montero behind the plate. Around the Horn, brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. If you missed it last night, vintage Jason Hayward in right field with a couple of very good plays coming in on the ball and making sliding catches. Hazelbaker's trying to snap an 0 for 11.
Well, the Cardinal hitters got schooled yesterday as Lackey was outstanding. We saw many more breaking balls and a changeup that a lot of the Cardinal players didn't think he even possessed. But he had a fabulous game plan against them. Now HAMMEL has all the same pitches, so we'll see if these guys get pitched the same way. Hazelbaker yesterday was, everything was in on him. Going away here.
1 ball and 2 strikes. John Lackey, 11 strikeouts. Went into the Cubs clubhouse as you did, Al, and we had the chance to visit with John, and I asked him, what's it like playing for Joe Maddon? And he said it's unique. As he grounds to the pitcher, he said the first conversation, he said, Joe Maddon told John Lackey, you're a veteran, do whatever you need to do to get ready for the season, and whatever way you prepare yourself, we're not going to change that. We don't have rules that you have to go this way, that way, and make sure and stick to it. Be comfortable here, fit in, but do what you want to do to be ready. We trust you. Hyundai pitch arsenal for HAMMEL.
So we talked about same pitches, even a little more of the curveball there. Doesn't throw the change as much.
Breaking ball and a strike.
Chris Bosio, the pitching coach for the Cubs, and I was talking about Lackey and that changeup yesterday. He said he broke it out last night. They've been working on spring training, but he never used it in the first 2 starts.
John and his wife just had a baby girl, 5-month-old, during the offseason, and he signed a 2-year deal to pitch for Chicago.
Talked about it a little bit last night, where the Cardinals didn't really offer him a contract. They offered him the qualifying offer.
Holiday chops it left side. Bryant makes the play. So Lackey is now a Cub, and we have played 1. There's no score here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. For the second, let's turn to Al Raboski's Toyota, key to the game.
Well, school's over. Learn from last night, because Lackey took his guys to an accelerated class. Don't chase the pitches. And Hammel has the same pitches, but he rarely throws the changeup. And that was one of the most effective pitches for Lackey, because the Cardinals didn't think he had one.
Ben Zobrist, 1 for his last 25. As he snapped an 0 for 24 last night. Picked up a double off of Tyler Lyons. Hitting from this side of the plate in the 8th.
Switch hitter, 11th season in the big leagues. Recognized as one of the premier utility guys. Can play all over the field.
He's picked up by the Kansas City Royals last year from Oakland, and here at the ballpark last night was Royals GM Date Moore. Drove over from the west side of the state to present Zobrist in person his World Series ring.
That's awesome.
The 2-1 pitch outside, 3-1.
Not a lot of at bats, but just a 167 average against the Cardinals, a team that he rooted for. His family, I understand, is a big Cardinal fans from Illinois, upstate.
And it's walk number 2 by Jaime. The Cubs have outscored opponents by 45 runs, yet they strike out a ton. Their big hitters aren't hitting for average, but a ton of walks along the way.
Yeah, they lead National League in that run differential. The Cardinals are second. But they're doing it right now with their starting pitching. And the bullpen's been good enough, as they've had to pitch tight games, and Cardinals are doing it with offense, as their starters haven't been that good.
And a strike to Miguel Montero, batting .281, 1 home run. He's driven in 6.
Jaime and Carlos Martinez, tomorrow's starter, have been the best starts for the Cardinals. But win this one, win tomorrow behind Tsunami.
Here's an 0-1. Now 0-2. Cardinals are shifting more now than they ever have. Tejada was on the second base side of the bag. The shortstop tonight, now with 2 strikes, more towards the shortstop side.
Montero is 2 for 2 with a home run against Jaime.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Montero. Jaime has been exceptional here at Busch Stadium. 60 starts, 29-15. ERA is about 2.5. His road ERA in his career is over 4. On 1-2, it swung on and missed, and strikeout number 2 for the Cardinals lefty. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
See a breaking ball at the top of the zone, not exactly where you want it, but gets a swing and miss. That's interesting, Dan, because in his last start, his best of his career, he only threw 1 curveball. He got a strikeout of a left-handed batter with it, but we've already seen more curveballs here tonight.
Well, the Cubs really wanted this guy, Addison Russell, who's now their everyday shortstop. They tried to draft him. He was drafted by Oakland. And when the A's decided to go for it a couple of years ago, they picked up, you may remember, John Lester, Jeff Samardzija, Jason Hammel. And Hammel was the piece that got them Russell. It was on the 4th of July. Theo Epstein was at a family event. At that event, you were not allowed at the facility to use a cell phone. He would actually hide in the bushes, and every 5 minutes call Billy Beane to try to make the deal to get Addison Russell. This may turn out to be a steal if it isn't already, because Samardzija wound up with the White Sox the next year, became a free agent. Now he's with the Giants. Russell comes to Chicago. Hammel, a free agent to be, re-signs with the Cubs.
Yeah, it's just now Hammel's back. So Kind of embarrassing situation for Billy Beane. Maybe Art Howe got even with it.
Well,
Moneyball.
If you're Oakland, though, at that time, you're adding Lester, you're adding HAMMEL, Samardzija, you're going for it. You know, with a low payroll, and that team was on fire that year. There's something to believe, though, that they made too many deals.
Well, that's it. And throughout history, you know, Doyle Alexander goes to Detroit, and young John Smoltz goes to Atlanta. Bagwell.
And the 1-1 is hit high in the air, right field. HAZELBAKER under it. Makes the catch. 2 down. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in high definition on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for details.
I think it was Larry Anderson was traded for Jeff Bagwell. He was a AA third baseman. Had Scott Cooper at third. Ahead of him at AAA and then Boggs. And so he became expendable and becomes, which I think is a Hall of Famer.
Agreed.
And all they got, the Phillies, is they got an announcer. Larry Anderson helped out in the bullpen, but then became one of the Phil's announcers.
One of the top pranksters in the game. What a good guy. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Jason HAMMEL. 1 for 4 with an RBI this year.
And because of that disappointing second half, and we think a lot of it was because of the injury to his leg. And he worked with Tom House. Most people may not remember Tom House is recognized as a pitching guru, kind of incorporated using a football for pitching. You know, throwing the football as part of an exercise, throwing it the correct way, staying on top. A lot of other people might remember him because he caught 7-14 in the Braves bullpen off the bat of Hank Aaron.
There's a lot of famous players clearly a part of that night. Most notable, clearly, Hank Aaron. On deck, though, Dusty Baker. Bill Buckner was in left field when that ball went over the wall in Atlanta.
Cardinals had just, you know, we were opening up the series in New York, and we all got into the hotel, and as going towards the elevator, we went by a television in the bar. And so it was like everyone trying to run in there and see that. And we saw it live in a hotel in New York.
That's hit out of play. Three and 2 the count. So Adams will move behind Zobrist. He'll be off with this pitch. Outfield is shallow. The 3-2 from Garcia. We'll do it again. TNT announcer Craig Sager, if you follow the NBA, wears the multicolored suits, and he was at home plate to greet Hank Aaron to do an interview that night. Had the chance to meet Craig on a number of occasions. He's battling cancer, and our thoughts and prayers with him.
I was wearing TBS back then.
3-2. Adams, nice play. Garcia covering the bag. Cubs strand their third runner of the night. We're midway through 2, and there's no score. Bottom of the second, the return of Jason Hayward. More on that with Jim Hayes.
Dan, Jason Hayward said the very same thing after last night's game that he said before it. He said he kind of likes the fact that the Cardinal fans are booing him because he takes it as a sign that they really liked him and they wanted him to stay in St. Louis. He told me he was definitely aware of the booing all night, but he didn't feel like he was alone because his two new teammates have been very supportive. He made it clear today he heard nothing, and I'll underscore that. He heard nothing from Cardinal fans that would be considered vile or ugly. Just booing, Dan, and Hayward says he's fine with that.
Here is Matt Adams, and Jim, there were some reports, at least out there, that there was some negative and, again, vile language thrown his way, and apparently that is not the case.
I know the Cardinals looked into it, and Mike Matheny addressed it, saying, hey, if it happened, it would be horrible. But from the information that's available at this point, they couldn't find anything, and I think they're relieved because that's not who Cardinal fans are.
Talked to Jason today. He's happy to be in Chicago, happy with the deal, and ready to move on after game one. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Adams. Gets the start tonight.
I think fans would be surprised at how a major leaguer or a professional athlete has the ability to shut out all distractions. If you hear those things, your head's not in the game.
The 2-2. The reports that were out there were the things that are awful, inexcusable, despicable. And there were reports that Cardinal fans did that to him, and again, he was asked about it multiple times today and said no, that did not happen. 3-2 pitch. Adams, base hit into center field. First Cardinal hit, first base runner of the night.
Nice stroke right there. Down and in, sweet spot for a slugger. And I like right now, because of where Matt is working on things, take the ball up the middle.
It's got to be very tough for Adams. This time last year, he was your starting first baseman, and now he's trying to find his swing and do that in limited time, which was the case in spring training with Holiday getting a lot of starts at first base and Moss. Primarily been used as a pinch hitter. Here's Randal Grichuk. Curveball and a strike. Grichuk is 0 for his last 7 and did not start or play last night.
Still trying to figure things out. Been well documented about Preston Wilson and Mark DeRosa on NFL Network. Gave him advice about how, and it was DeRosa, I saw it live, that said, you know, hey, get a slider machine, crank it up as hard as you can, and sit there and watch pitches. Well, when he was down there in Atlanta, it's not so much you want, you know, Randall said it was a broken machine because it wouldn't throw strikes. And that's what he needed. If it threw strikes, he would go out there, you know, get his eye trained to swing at everything. But seeing it so erratic, one inside, one outside, down and away, he's got his eye conditioned to not chase that breaking ball off the plate.
Here's a 1-1. So it was MLB Network, Mark DeRosa, Preston Wilson. It was opening day. Randall told me he went into the Cardinals video room just to say hello to some of the employees that did not travel, and saw clips of good and bad of himself up on the TV, turned up the sound, and then Wilson and DeRosa started talking about their own careers and how to get out of a funk. Here's a 1-2. He said there are 3 things they looked at and 3 things that you could do to improve your swing. And Randall said he had done the pitching machine set to a slider, which at first was advised to him by Mike Matheny and also John Mabry, and then hit off a tee, set it up inside, and then soft toss. So it was Mabry that actually started it, and that's what got things going for Grichuk. The 2-2 just missed.
What it really did was got him to train his eye not to swing at pitches out of the plate. Remember, he came off the bench and had 3 walks in Atlanta. Then he got a couple hits, but the walks have kind of continued. They don't want him to lose that aggressiveness. And you saw he's taking 2 breaking balls in this at bat for strikes. But now with a 2-strike count, he has to defend.
And the 3-2. Grichuk, left side, base hit. Back-to-back hits for the Cardinals here in inning number 2.
And what's good about that one is he saw another breaking ball, but this had a little hump in it. Instead of down and away off the plate, it stayed up in the middle of the plate, it appeared, and he just pulled it to the side. So bad location, kind of a backup breaking ball on the inner half, and he did a nice job to take that pitch, pull the trigger. Yadier has very good numbers against HAMMEL, so this is the time right now that he's got to come through.
Yadier leads the club in hits with 15. The first pitch to him. Runners go, and HAMMEL has Adams in a rundown. Tagged out. Grichuk back to the bag at first.
Left too soon. HAMMEL saw it. That's why you vary your looks to home plate or going back to second base. Sometimes you only look one time, you take off, but there you see he spun around backwards. He left too soon, and then it's just put him in a rundown. The Cardinals still got a man on, but now they got 1 out, and that man is on first base. That can't happen.
Yadier, good numbers against HAMMEL, 6 for 13, 3 doubles. The check on Grichuk.
You know, Matt just guilty of trying to do too much.
With Molina, anytime he's up, certainly you think about a hit and run with a runner at first base. Good speed at Randall Grichuk. That type of pitch right there, he'll take it to right. No balls and a strike.
6 for 13 off of HAMMEL, so we got the right guy up. Just unfortunately, we lost to a runner on the base. Keep on worrying about Grichuk and make a careless pitch to the plate.
Bigger lead this time for Grichuk. And an 0-1 pitch to Molina. Serves it to right, out of play. 0-2.
Seeing these good leads that Grichuk's getting at first base, our old buddy Lou Brock would say, hey, you're getting back easy. Take another step.
Mentioned that HAMMEL has bounced around Tampa Bay, Colorado, Baltimore, Oakland. Second stint with the Chicago Cubs. The 0-2 to Yadier Molina. Great to see Lou back at the ballpark. It was an emotional day for opening day for so many reasons. He's now 76. Had his left leg amputated below the knee. That was the result of an infection that was complicated by type 2 diabetes. And if you buy that pin, money will go to children in the area that suffer from diabetes. Runner goes, and the pitch is driven out to deep left field. It's at the track, at the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Grichuk being waved in. He will score. Yadier digging for third. On his way. He is safe. And it's 1-0 the play. Soler very slow in getting up, and the Cubs bullpen, they're on the back bench there. All of them got up to check on Soler, who did not get up.
Well, let's see what the young man ran into. As he goes back on this ball, he's not noted as a very good defender, and he went back there, and look at Yadi. Now here's my question on that. Yadi slide right there, and we don't often see a triple, but he didn't slide directly into the base. Now that's okay, right? I mean, it's common sense.
If the player is not positioned at the bag, yes, he can do that.
You don't really read that in the new rule.
Infield is drawn in. Here's Wong. So there's a race to the bag as Fowler had to back it up, get it to Bryant. The 6th career triple for Yadier Molina, first since August of last year.
He also got a breaking ball that he lifted out the left field wall.
Infield is drawn in, and the 0-2 pitch. Strikeout of Wong. Second strikeout for Hammel. June 18th, Busch Stadium hosts the 12th annual Purina Pooches in the ballpark, and tickets go on sale beginning at 10 a.m. This will sell out quickly on April 22nd. Cardinals.com/Pooches. Here's Ruben Tejada. Remember, the Cardinals picked him up in spring training after he was released by the Mets. Cardinals signed him for $1.5 million, one-year deal. Took the final opening on the 40-man roster. Mets had added Neil Walker, Asdrubal Cabrera during the offseason.
Remember the day after Peralta got hurt, and don't we miss him? That Tejada went 4 for 4 in spring training.
Here's a 1-0, and Tejada pops it up to the right side. Rizzo calling for it on the outfield grass and puts it away. 6th career triple for Yadier Molina. A hanging breaking ball from Jason Hammel. About a foot away from making it 2-0. He'll take the triple. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. And get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. Molina with his 6th career triple. 1-0 Cardinals as we move ahead to the top of the 3rd. And the top of the lineup, Dexter Fowler will lead it off for the Chicago Cubs. Fowler walked his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Talked about how he was a free agent last year for the Cubs. Wanted big money. Cubs let him walk. And late, well, early spring training, he came back after he turned down a 3-year, $35 million offer from Baltimore. Playing for 1 year, $13 million, and saying he's going to go out and have another good year and try and get that cash in. It's a good ball player in my mind.
Garcia has struck out 2 already tonight. He has walked 2. Now he has struck out 3. Amazing the amount of strikeouts that you see in the game today. Just to put it in perspective, Stan the Man played in over 3,000 games, had only 1 3-strikeout game so far this year, 120 of those.
Different game.
Completely.
I always say that as I competed against Reggie Jackson, Reggie's greatest contribution to the game of baseball is he glorified the strikeout. And it used to be guys would be big home run hitters in the minor leagues. They stayed there because they struck out 100 times.
1-0 pitch to Hayward. Seems to me the boos are louder tonight than even the first time through last night.
Doesn't seem as much blue in the stands either today. Let's get a St. Louis doubleheader sweep tonight.
Here's a 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a liner off the bat of Hayward, knocked down by Tejada back in the 1st inning.
He's 0 for the series, but he's hit 3 balls right on the nose.
Turned into a force play at second base after the walk by Dexter Fowler. And the 1-2. Ground ball up the middle, backhanded by Wong. What a play! Wow! Wow! Wow!
And there's a prime example of what we talked. That is indicative of what type of fielder Colton Wong should be. He can make those spectacular plays. And I will say this, I don't think he's been carrying his defense into the field. But he just has to relax. He gets a play like this that you can't think about it. You just have to react. And when he just reacts, he makes spectacular plays.
And that's a guy that gets down the line very well in Hayward.
Sure.
Hits from the left side of the plate, so it shortens it. Man, what a play.
There was and you can see how strong Colton's arm is. You know, a lot of people say you don't have to have a strong arm playing second base. Well, you do if you're going to play the game properly, because you'll have so many balls where you're going towards the outfield or going towards the stands, and you got to make that throw.
Back to Garcia, spins, throws. He fires a strike to Adams. Colton Wong with one of the top defensive plays of 2016. Again, he moves so well to his right and robs Jason Hayward. 4 longest droughts for a championship in the 4 major professional sports. Arizona Cardinals dates back to 1947. The Kings in the NBA. Toronto Maple Leafs 1967, and the Chicago Cubs 1908.
Man, you could almost give Chicago one plus, because back in 1947 it was the Chicago Cardinals before they came to St. Louis.
Broken bat. Jaime Garcia as he grounds to second. Brendan Shanahan has been called upon to turn around the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Kings have struggled for a number of years. Had some good teams about 10 years ago that made runs in the Western Conference of the NBA. And then, of course, the Cubs, 1908.
Well, think about the Cubs now. They're taking that negative thought. They haven't won since 1908, and they're using it as a sales pitch now on their free agents, telling everybody, hey, you could be part of history. When we win it, you'll be part of this. You'll be the toast of the town.
Hit to Addison Russell. 2 down. Carpenter is 0 for 2.
We talked about Hammel last year. You know, he had the high ERA after he had the leg injury, and he really worked out very hard this winter and utilizing his legs and stuff like this, to where now he feels like he's using his legs, driving properly, and not just all arm. But it's kind of like you were talking the other day, tall guys like Hammel, but I'm thinking about Wainwright, the tall and fall. Where the other, you know, when somebody's short, and probably the best example of driving, using your lower legs and really driving towards the plate would be Tom Seaver. Remember how Tom Seaver would wear a pad on his knee, because as he pushed off and went towards home plate, his knee would actually touch the mound and stuff. The difference of tall and fall or leg drive, because you get so much of your velocity from your legs.
1 ball, 1 strike on Hazelbaker. 2 outs, nobody on, and that slapped the other way. Foul. And Tom Seaver, you know, for our young fans that maybe never saw him, but you know, just go to YouTube and take a look, and he'd have dirt on that knee.
Yeah, he'd put a knee pad on there because he would drive it into there. But you think about Wainwright, we showed Walker, you know, 6'6", 6'7". These guys already have that built-in downward plane, so you got to take advantage of it. And when you talk about those guys really being on top of their game, you know, they're able to do that.
Hazelbaker strikes out. He's 0 for 2. We head to the 4th. Cardinals on top. Krispy Kreme doesn't deal. Cardinals get 9 hits tonight. You're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow. Receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. Stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations or the new locations in Bloomington or Springfield, Illinois for this sensational deal.
And we thank Krispy Kreme for bringing a couple dozen for Garcia. He's already ate them all. You didn't see it. I didn't see him. I saw the empty box.
And we knew.
It was Garcia. Him Garcia, not Jaime.
Jaime had a little bit more important things to worry about.
Yes. Good point.
Listen, Jaime, don't touch our Krispy Kremes.
Yeah, after the game. Have all you want.
Anthony Rizzo at the plate. Talking with Mike Matheny the other day, and he said Jaime Garcia, and he's had a chance to be behind the plate, warm him up, play catch with him. He said he's the hardest guy to play catch with because of all the natural movement. And he said he could understand where a fan would, from their perspective, would think, well, guy's throwing 100. That's got to be hard to catch. And he said that was easy.
Yeah.
These kind of guys, it was at times disastrous on your thumb. You know, could really jam it.
And you think about that with the Yachty, because the movement, you know, you'll catch it a little off, and that's where it really stings that thumb with these modern catching gloves.
This is popped up. The shift was on. Carpenter coming on, and Garcia gets out of the way. He had a long ways to go. He was near shortstop with that shift for Rizzo.
Now, usually your pitcher is going to be the traffic car, and most of the time you want a position player to get those pop-ups. Now, sometimes you don't have a chance, and some pitchers are better than others. But you could see that Carpenter knew that Jaime was uncomfortable, and he was looking for help, and he got it.
Here's Soler. By the way, the game on Thursday for Yadier Molina, catching that one-hitter, complete game shutout. Soler takes a ball. That was the 107th complete game shutout that Molina had caught behind the plate.
I saw that, and I've never seen a stat like that. But didn't you think, boy, that is impressive?
It's longevity. Being able to be out there and answer the bell every day.
Well, he's caught more games now than any catcher in Cardinal history.
He's 23 games shy of 1,500 for his career. Here's a 1-1.
You know, Dan, it used to be that every left-hander threw a ball and couldn't throw it straight. There you see just how he can sell his pitches. You know, they think it's a lot higher. The movement right there.
Had to be of concern for the Cubs to see Soler lay on the ground after that triple hit by Yadier Molina. Slow to get up. And remember, this is a team that's already missing Kyle Schwarber.
You talk to people around the ball club, and they say they miss him quite a bit. And oppositions don't.
Full count on the left fielder of the Chicago Cubs. He signed a 9-year deal with the Cubs, part of their rebuilding plan after defecting from Cuba. And that's the third walk handed out by Jaime Garcia. Hit a home run with the Hilton St. Louis at the ballpark and the St. Louis Union Station Hotel. Choose one of our Cardinal baseball packages. Score for your team. Go to HiltonSt.Louis.com or call 314-421-1776.
You've been to the club up there?
I have. What have you?
I have not. But it's got to be a great view.
Our vantage point, you see the Hilton. You see Greensfelder, which is one of the top law firms based right here in St. Louis, one of the top law firms, Greensfelder, in the country. Right across the street. 0-1 pitch.
So how's Kevin doing?
KPMG is across the street. KMOV Channel 4. So see the skyline of downtown St. Louis.
And I wish they'd light up the arch all the time.
One ball, one strike. Short lead at first. Well, they have the arch cut in the grass, and I was talking to Bill Finley about that today. When it's lighter, the look is a little bit lighter, doesn't stand out as much. That's when they cut the grass towards center field. They want it darker in the grass, they angle it towards the other way. Remember, this started with the All-Star game back in 2009. Became a fan favorite. Base hit into center field for Zobrist. So walk and now a single. Chevy Foxtrax on this pitch.
Well, he's a contact hitter. He's got a bunch of swing and miss type guys, so they brought him in here. His 11th major league season. He's a switch hitter, and you can see that ball stayed up a little bit over the middle of the plate, and a very good hitter. Took advantage of it.
Miguel Montero, 2 on, 1 out. It's 1-0 Cardinals. He struck out back in the second inning. Garcia has struck out 3. He has walked 3. Cubs have played terrific baseball so far on the road. They are 6-1 away from Wrigley. 10-3 overall. First pitch, a ball. This is one of the rare times that they have been trailing in a game. They have led in 11 of their 13 games this year.
And yet, when they are at home before coming here to St. Louis, they got beat in a series, Colorado.
Well, that's a nasty breaking ball there. 1-1 the count.
And he's got 5 different pitches when you think about his 2- and 4-seamer, and they say that every one of his pitches is in the top 35% or top 35 of all pitchers.
Ooh, just missed.
And that's pretty rare to have be in that company.
Hitters count 2 balls, 1 strike on Miguel Montero. Jaime would love the double play. This is where it gets interesting with the shift. For instance, a ball that's hit to third. Who do you have covering? Is it Tejada or is it Wong? You would think Tejada closest to the bag, but that's your shortstop. And now with 2 strikes, just like in the previous at bat, more towards the bag at the shortstop side. Which then makes it even tougher if it's hit to Carpenter. He's a little bit closer than Wong, but very tough to turn the body to get your double play if you're the shortstop on this type of ground ball.
Whereas at first and second, it's very difficult for Carpenter to go over there and touch third and get the force out and try to get a double play that way. So you really do have to anticipate what you're going to do if the ball's hit towards you.
The 2-2 hit the other way, base hit. Holiday hits the cutoff man. Carpenter, bases loaded. And with Addison Russell coming up, the base is loaded. Let's Motor Player Profile brought to you by BMW Mini. Young player, 3rd youngest in the National League, 8th youngest overall. Drafted by Oakland 11th overall, 2012, and then traded on the 4th of July and made his debut. It will be his anniversary of his major league debut in 2 days.
And they knew he was going to be a good one. Played most of last season out of position at second base, and then they traded Castro. He got to be at shortstop, his natural position.
Nowhere to put him here with the bases loaded.
Nope. .222. See, this season much better, 2 for 2 with the bases loaded.
Fly to right his first time up.
He's not a big man at all, and he'll grow into that body as he gets older, but he had 13 home runs last year.
In his career with the bases loaded, 4 for 18 with 9 RBIs. One and 2.
See, they've frozen a couple hitters with the fastball. Now you got 2 strikes. Now it's the optimum time to strike him out, punch him out.
Does he get him to chase on 1 ball and 2 strikes? He got him. Strikeout of Addison Russell. Biggest of the night thus far for Garcia.
Now he's got the pitcher spot coming up, so you've got to concentrate on him, but you can't strike somebody out until you get 2 strikes on him. And there you see the breaking ball, and he does chase that ball at the bottom of the zone. And I'm sure Yadier right here is going out to talk to Jaime and just say, okay, you got 2 strikes, you know, or you got 2 outs, bury down here.
Hammel first time up. Bounced sharply to Matt Adams. Flipped to Garcia. Bases loaded, 2 down. Cubs have stranded 3 so far.
136 lifetime hitter coming in. Saw John Lackey last night help his own cause. Oh, you just really have to concentrate. Can't let up. This is one of those innings that you talk about stressful. Even if you get out of this jam, you're still in a little bit of how much will it take a toll on you as you go on.
Here's a 1-0. Also the pitch count because of the walks. In addition to the 4 strikeouts, it is up to 75. Bases loaded. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Ground ball, base hit. Game is tied. Now the Cubs have the lead. Jason Hammel. RBIs number 2 and 3 on the year, and it's 2-1 Chicago.
Another breaking ball. They wanted it away. Look at that ball just move down and in, drops a bat head, just finds a perfect hole through the left side. Zobrist right there. Got 2 outs, so he's just going on contact, gets a nod to come on home, and they have a 2-1 lead. Wow.
Here's Dexter Fowler, 0 for 1 with a walk. Runners at first and second. Strike 1.
Dexter's 0 for 10 with 4 strikeouts and 4 walks against Jaime.
From the Cardinals' perspective, make sure that he does not get unnerved. gives up the base hit with 2 outs to the pitcher. Got the tough out, which was Addison Russell.
Right.
And the 0-1 pitch.
He's been around too long. He knows the situation and just made a pitch that Hammel got lucky with.
1 ball, 1 strike.
There have been times in Jaime's career, though, when something does go out of kilter that he kind of gets a little bit out of whack himself. So fight that. Good hitters count.
It was 15 2/3 scoreless baseball by Garcia that was just snapped moments ago. 3-1 pitch. And it's a walk. That's 4 tonight. And here comes Derek Lilliquist. That'll start the clock. 30 seconds. And Jason Hayward a chance to do some damage. Fox Sports Midwest proud to support the National Alliance on Mental Illness Race for Recovery Walk for Awareness 5K run. 1 mile walk May 7th. The NAMI provides individuals and families facing the challenges of mental health disorders. NAMISWI.org. Montero the single to left. Hammel the base hit with the bases loaded. The walk to Fowler, his second tonight. And look who digs in. He was robbed last time up. A backhanded play by Colton Wong. Also hit a liner, caught it short. First pitch, a strike to Jason Hayward. One of the biggest at bats of this game is right here. 2-1 Chicago. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And an 0-1 pitch from Jaime Garcia. In the air. Right field, long way to go, and a foul ball. Hazelbaker playing deep for Hayward. No balls and 2 strikes.
Way off the line, too, and that ball got in there. It kind of jammed him. Didn't have that crisp sound. Oh, 2. You're in the driver's seat.
Strikeout of Hayward. Strands of bases loaded, but the Cubs do strike with a base hit from Jason Hammel. The breaking ball freezes the Cubs right fielder. graphic tells you is that Cardinals pitchers, when they're on the mound facing a pitcher at the plate, they have not had the kind of success that they want to. As a matter of fact, it's the highest average allowed by a staff against the opposing pitchers. And so 171, that is updated after the base hit by HAMMEL. And so with that, it's a base hit that scores 2, and now the Cubs have their lead at 2-1. Here's Matt Holliday. And the break that has had a really nice video of Lou Brock here at the ballpark. Spent 4.5 months in the hospital. The infection was so bad it infected his heart, his lungs, his kidneys. There's so many well wishes of the fans that just overwhelmed him. There's a base hit out to left. And Lou is saying to some of us, one of the great visits he had was with Lou Brock, or rather with Bob Gibson for Lou Brock. And Lou was saying that it's one of the first times he had ever seen Bob Gibson in tears at the hospital. He told Bob, quit crying. I'll see you on opening day.
Well, there's two of the toughest guys you'll ever see. You know, a little different ways to show their toughness, but it was an honor to play with both those great players and to call them friends.
Adams with a base hit into center field. Then he was picked off a second. And after that, Molina put one off the wall that would have scored 2. The Cardinals had 3 hits back in the second inning, including a triple, and only scored 1.
How about Lou? You know, Bob now is 80 years of age. Went to his birthday party last November here in St. Louis, and Lou was so kind, and so Bob was kind of like an idol to me and had the biggest influence in my career. And then Lou was so generous with his time and helped me with things on and off the field.
Adams pops it up and foul out of play. Matt Adams, a .306 career hitter in this ballpark. All kinds of room on the left side of the infield, straight away and deep in the outfield. Adams rips it down the right field line. It is fair. Holliday to third. Adams to second. In there safely. Ball just jumped off his back.
Throw was coming in there, and hopefully he didn't hurt himself. 2 rifles off the bat of Matt Adams tonight.
Adam Olson, the Cardinals head trainer, out to check on Adams.
I think he got maybe caught in between, trying to see if he was going to slide to the inside or outside, and looks like it may be the groin.
Last year was a right quadriceps tear, as he was limited in his time to just 60 games.
Now they're both kind of smiling and laughing. This ball down the corner. We know what a good throwing arm that Hayward has. He gets the ball back in here. And I'm wondering if he got caught in between as he's watching Russell. See, he's right in the way there. Well, it's not how they teach it, but he slides way early.
I think his right cleat got caught.
Yeah, maybe.
That stretched the quadricep, but he stays in the game. And now a chance for Randal Grichuk. First 2 have reached and nobody out. Pulled foul, and there's a couple of hanging breaking balls we've seen from HAMMEL.
Yes, we have. You know, Lackey last night was so good burying his slider down and away to these right-handed batters. And then he had a changeup that we never really seen him throw. He had some great changeups to the lefties. He put on a clinic.
Chance to tie it or take the lead. 0-1 pitch. The 1-1. Inning started with a base hit to left by Holiday. Matt Adams, the double in the right field corner. First double this year. One and two the count on Grichuk. Outfield is deep.
I like the way Randall's kind of taking some of these pitches just off the plate, especially with runners in scoring position. That's sometimes where he gets way too anxious.
He has scored the only run for the Cardinals tonight on a triple off the top of the wall for the man on deck, Yadier Molina. The 2-2. Popped up. One away. April 29th, 30,000 fans ages 16 and older receive an adult zip-up hooded sweatshirt. Stay warm as you cheer on the Cardinals all season long. Visit Cardinals.com/promotions for tickets. Modeled there by the one and only Matt Holliday. Second and third, one out. Molina hitting .500 this year with runners in scoring position. There's the fly ball. Here's Hayward. The runner, Holiday. Catch is made. Throw to the plate. On time. Out. Double play. One of the strongest arms in all of baseball, Jason Hayward, shows it off. Almost caught Adams at second base. He does catch Holiday trying to tag up and score. And with that throw, keeps the Cubs on top. 2-1. The outfield assist from Jason Hayward, a strike to the plate. And he knew it.
A lost start, but look how he gets behind, gets his momentum coming forward. He throws the ball right on the line, one hopper, and a good play. Montero gave him a lane, and they gunned him out. But that's a lost start, isn't it?
Guys throwing from the outfield.
Very few guys today have, well, you just said it, one of the strongest arms in the game today. But used to be that, you know, everybody had a pretty good, strong and accurate arm. But how about this? I guess when you're throwing out as many people as you have, you kind of get an idea that we're going to do it again. Because watch him, momentum coming forward. As soon as he releases his ball, he starts running into the dugout, knowing it's a double play.
Two balls, one strike. Bryant, Rizzo, Soler. 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup for the Cubs. Had him out in front, and it's popped up. Molina throws the mask. Adams coming on, and it's out of play. This has been a game of missed opportunities, no doubt, for the Cardinals. Cardinals last inning in the bottom of the 4th. Runners at second and third, nobody out. They do not score. And then the Cardinals at the triple from Molina, and even with Adams picked off, had a chance in the second to add to their lead at the time. With a runner at third, only one out, Wong up. He struck out. Tejada popped out. The threat was through. Ground ball pulled foul. Bryant, an infield hit up the third base line. A do-or-die play for Carpenter. Put it in his back pocket back in the first. And he also grounded back to Garcia. The 2-2.
I may try and struggle to get through this inning as the pitch count now at 90. Also interesting that Matt Bowman, the Rule 5 selection from the Mets, got up in the bullpen last inning when he was in a little trouble.
Says two things potentially. One, growing confidence with Matt Bowman, not just a long man in blowouts, and then I'm sure they're trying to get Seth Maness right as well. Strikeout number 6 for Garcia as we check in with Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan, Aledmys Diaz has been red hot with the bat. He's hitting 400, but he's also made some errors, including a key one last night. Mike Matheny says giving Ruben Tejada the start tonight had nothing to do with Diaz or his miscue. Mike says he's been rotating guys and will continue to do it. He says you try to ride the hot hand, but you also have to keep guys sharp. He says he told Diaz this was in no way a punishment. For his part, Tejada is thrilled to be back. He told me physically he's 100%. Dan, I asked him if he had a preference between shortstop and second base. He told me whatever gets him in the lineup.
That's the case right now. You know, Diaz only had 58 plate appearances above Double-A coming into this season as Rizzo is out in front on a good changeup from Garcia. Foul territory. Matt Adams.
I was very impressed with Diaz talking about wanting to have Ruben Tejada, you know, activated. He says, you know, he's a good ball player. He can help us. I want him here for the team. Of course, he didn't like the fact that another good young ball player, Greg Garcia, was sent down. But I think with the problems that we've had defensively at shortstop, that's the reason why Greg Garcia, who also struggles a little bit there, get him down there and play primarily at shortstop and get a little more confidence.
There's Diaz. Tejada, by the way, 397 games at short, 110 at second, and he's played 18 at third. The changeup, very effective pitch here in this inning.
You know, I was just thinking that, Dan. It almost looks like Jaime's kind of wore himself down or got to the point where he's got his release point down. Maybe this third time through the order is really incorporating a lot more changeups, but hopefully it's not too late.
This will be pitch number 97 upcoming, and Garcia is due up third in the bottom of inning number 5. But with 3 changeups in a row. That's when you know you feel pretty good about your changeup.
Yeah,
when you do 3 in a row.
Used to say, don't do that. But to a free swinger like Soler, perfect pitch.
There's the breaking ball, got him to chase. Strikeout number 7, 2 in the inning for Jaime Garcia. 7, 8, and 9 coming up for St. Louis.
With a Bommarito Sports Update, we go to day ball in Target Field in Minneapolis. It's Milwaukee, Minnesota. Jonathan Lucroy with an RBI double here to make it 3-2 Milwaukee, and the Twins lose to the Brew Crew 6-5. Dan and Al, back to you.
Brewers now 6-8 on the young year. Minnesota falls to 4-10, and here is Colton Wong.
And I talked to Colton Wong today, and he feels like he's very, very close. Remember, he hit that rocket up the middle, almost took the head off of Lackey. And got rung up on a pitch last night, and similar pitch today on the inside part of the plate that he didn't think was a strike.
In one of the 5 hits in game 1 of the series, Colton still looking for his first extra base hit of the year. He was back in the second, runner at third. 1 out. He struck out. Here's an 0-2. It'll be Wong. Tejada, pinch hitter, is always throwing in the pen. Garcia was right at 100 pitches, just around there. And Brandon Moss looks to be the pinch hitter.
Look at, as you see, there. It doesn't look like Colton Wong is as uncomfortable or crouching and tight.
Ooh, and he's hit by the pitch.
On the toe or something, but yep.
The Cardinals get their leadoff man on.
Breaking ball, but comes down there and right on the toe, front foot. Those work shoes don't have steel toes, do they?
No, sir.
They do for the umpires.
Now Ruben Tejada, first plate appearance, popped out to first.
He was 3 for 9 in his 3 games he had at Springfield on a rehab. Some of our younger viewers may not remember, but it used to be there was only one disabled list, and that was 21 days. And you didn't have the option of going down and playing some rehab games. So it was 3 weeks, and if they took you off, you had to be ready to play right away. Much better today for the player and for the organization too. They can make sure a guy is ready.
Pretty big lead for Colton Wong. Let's see if he wants to do some running. 15 stolen bases a year ago.
Dan, I'd like to think that that will be a small number. You know, that I think is capable of stealing quite a bit more than that. Got to get on base, though.
Last Cardinal to lead the league in steals was Vince Coleman back in 1990. At 77 stolen bases that year. 549 with the Birds. Very close at first. We bring that up because tonight we honor the best of the bunch, Lou Brock.
I mentioned earlier that Lou over 900 steals. For some reason 938 sticks in my head, but National League, still the National League record, second all time. But the one difference from Lou and Vince Coleman, Vince was the best you ever saw at stealing third base, where Lou rarely, if ever, stole third base because he always felt like he was going to score from second on any base hit.
Another check on Wong. Tejada is only 26. It was just a couple of years ago. Terry Collins telling us he was the shortstop of the future for the Mets. Jose Reyes had moved on, and it was Tejada's position. Came in out of shape.
Yeah, I remember that part. Came in out of shape. That's what we heard Terry Collins say. It was like 2 years ago, right? Or last year in spring training.
Cards waited for him to clear waivers, so they would not be on the hook for $3 million. Got him for 1.5 after the injury to Johnny Peralta, who's still about 2 months away. John Mozeliak was asked about that today, the Cardinals GM, and Tejada looks to be the everyday shortstop, maybe splitting time with Diaz, and then Peralta about 2 months away. Only 60 pitches to play here in the 5th inning.
You know, it's still so early in the season where you're still trying to establish, you know, who's going to be out there in the outfield or at shortstop, second base on a daily basis.
The 3-1. Now 3-2. Big crowd here tonight. Expecting a big crowd tomorrow for day baseball, the finale between the Cubs and the Cardinals. This is game number 2 of 19 meetings this year. The 3-2 pitch. And a strikeout of Tejada. Number 4 tonight for Jason Hammel. If you can't watch the games on television, you can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store, download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in, stream the Cardinals wherever you go. So here's Brandon Moss. A lot of damage has been done by the Cardinals in this spot, and in particular by Moss. Pinch hitters for St. Louis are 10 for 21 with 6 homers and 9 RBIs.
What a change from probably the last 5 years.
Put the shift on. And the throw to try to get Wong. He's back in safely.
Cardinals, it seemed like with the bench, were playing with about a 22, 23-man roster the last several years and really had no threat coming off the bench that would put a little fear in an opposing manager or opposing pitching staff. That's a little bit different now.
Cardinals struck out 14 times last night in game 1. 4 of those of Brandon Moss. Here's an 0-1 pitch. He sees, I would say, the most exaggerated of the shifts against any of the Cardinal hitters. Chris Bryant, the third baseman, on the second base side, and Addison Russell near the bag at second. Be hard not to be tempted to drop down a bunt, but he's paid to swing hard and provide some pop.
But Dan, with Soler, the left fielder, playing so deep also, if you put anything to left field, it's a lot of running space there.
Three and 1. Carpenter on deck.
I don't know if you said it, but it's Bryant who is playing closer towards first base, the third baseman, which makes sense. You know, you got Russell, a shortstop on the left side, and then you got your second baseman just a little bit towards the bag. So your third baseman is the one that's playing there in shallow right.
What a chance here for Moss. Hitters count 3 balls, 1 strike. Runner at first is Wong. And Moss pops it up. Going back, Russell into shallow left. He makes the catch. The bold and sweet flavor of strawberry mixed with tart taste of lemonade, blended to perfection to cool you down all summer long, only at McDonald's. Now the Cardinals are left with an all right-handed bench. Jerko, Piscotty, Diaz, and Fryer. Cubs carry 6 righties in their pen, 2 lefties. They only have 30 innings by their bullpen, which is the fewest in Major League Baseball. These starters have been going deep into games.
Every starter has gone at least 6 innings for the Cubs.
And the check on Wong. Carpenter is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to short and also struck out.
And it's still early, but when you go deep into ball games, you take a lot of pressure off that bullpen. The fewer innings the bullpen can pitch, the more success you're usually going to have.
It was Adam Warren who was getting loose, the right-hander for Chicago. Strike 1 on Carpenter. Warren was picked up from the Yankees along with Brendan Ryan. That Brendan Ryan and Starlin Castro. Ryan then was released and tried to make the club with the Washington Nationals. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Were you aware whether he made it? I don't think so, but he had a good spring.
Runner goes. Montero to second. Stolen base for Wong. First of the year. And teams are now 7 for 7 against Miguel Montero.
Had plenty to spare on that one. Get the good jump. Had the high leg kick. Still, and I agree with Tim McCarver, don't like to see the head first slides. Speaking of Lou Brock, he told me you can only slide head first if the infielders allow you to do so. It's a more friendly game today where they don't step on you or drop a knee on a shoulder.
Carpenter out to shallow left field. Jorge Soler is there. Colton Wong the stolen base, but left stranded. Cardinals trail 2-1. Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Yadier was going for number 1. Hit off the top of the wall and left, and he turned that into a triple. Picked up an RBI. 6th career triple for Yadier Molina, first since August of last season. And it's 2-1 here at the top of the 6th. Seung-Hwan Oh takes over for the Cardinals. The Cardinals out of their pen with 46 strikeouts combined, which is second most by any bullpen in the big leagues. And O and Rosenthal been a big reason why they have those lofty strikeout numbers.
Yeah, 11 strikeouts in 6+ innings. Went 2 innings on Saturday, his last appearance. I was very intrigued when they signed him, saw his numbers. And he is not disappointed, has he?
At all. 1-1. Mike Matheny talking about the 2-inning appearance. Said the other day we really took him out of his comfort zone, because remember, he's a closer. So primarily going 1 inning. There's Eugene Koo on the right, the translator for Seung-Hwan Oh. And that pitch is lifted in the air, left field. Holiday under it. 1 away. Cardinal fans, next time you want to grab tickets, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you'll love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by the best value. So get the StubHub app today. When asked about who O reminds him of, Mike Matheny said Rob Nen. He said because of the hesitation and what he does with the front foot. Remember, Nen had a little bit of that toe tap too. Fastball and a strike.
Deceptive. He's got a lot of different type pitches. I'm sure we haven't seen them all yet either.
Cardinals had a situation over the weekend where they let O face Joey Votto with Lyons ready to go. And Mike said that he went with O because the league has not seen him. They're not used to this delivery. Advantage to O in his mind. And you may recall too, in a key spot in that game, Cardinals went out to visit with O. It was more than the allotted 30 seconds. And Mike said, go ahead and find us. Game's on the line. We need to make sure we go over the situation properly. It's going to take longer because of the translation. And then later that inning, it was Molina who went out to visit with O. And they do speak in English, if you're wondering. And there are a few key words that O has already learned in the English language to try to get through that barrier. That's fouled back.
Sometimes baseball terms are universal, and you can communicate on a baseball field or get your point across. Maybe a little tougher ordering food, but baseball, you can do a lot of hand signs, different things, and communicate.
Here's a 1-2. Slipped out of the hands of O. The other thing that they'll do, and I talked to Yadier about this, he said with a man on second, many times he'll just put down the sign and says, follow me. O does not shake him off, which they did not do in Japan or Korea. On the outside corner and a strikeout. As we get a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for Sungwon O, but he'll go out there with a sequence of pitches ready to go. They'll say, okay, slider, slider, fastball, slider. So they even know what the 4 pitches are before he even puts anything down. He may just put it down for effect, but not to give the sign. They already go through that. It's really interesting, the dynamic between these two.
Well, he's got the pedigree. I mean, all-time save leader in Korea. The last 2 years he went to Japan, had 80 saves there. So he's got plenty of experience and 2 great nicknames.
The final boss in Stone Buddha. The 1-1. A lot of late swings against O, and we noticed in the first bullpen session of spring training, Cardinals talk about how he hides the ball so well behind his back. And a 1-2 pitch. Russell strikes out at O. Keeps on rolling along. Nice addition to this club. Bullpen has been outstanding so far this year. He strikes out 2 here at the top of the 6th. in Cuba. Final Frontier on Fox Sports Midwest. You'll see that tomorrow at noon. Really some great stories. Brian Pena, wonderful story in his own right. His visit to Cuba, first time back in 17 years. He had seen various members of his family. Brian will be a part of the pregame show tomorrow. So HAMMEL pitching into the bottom of the 6th, and this is something the Cubs have seen every game this year. Their starter has pitched into the 6th inning. HAZELBAKER, Holiday, and Adams. Jeremy is 0 for 2.
HAZELBAKER, looks like the Cubs are going to try and bury him inside, and then maybe late in the count go away.
The 2-0 is hit to the right side. Hustling down the line, but he's out. He's 0 for his last 14, HAZELBAKER. What's on Tap is presented by Budweiser. Day baseball. Carlos Martinez will get the call for the St. Louis Cardinals. Kyle Hendricks for Chicago will come your way at noon. And it is our What's on Tap presented by Budweiser. Martinez with 2 starts so far, both have been quality. The Cardinals have won the last 5 starts he's made against Chicago.
Holiday at base hits his last time up. He's now 5 for 13. Joe Madden, Dave Martinez, his bench coach. They've been together for quite a while now.
All their time in Tampa Bay.
Sure.
Well, HAMMEL's come in with an ERA that was over 6 in 5 starts against the Cardinals. Different story here tonight. Last series against Cincinnati, the Cardinals in double digits in home runs. They scored 26 runs, and they have just 1 run in this series. Shutout yesterday, 1 run tonight, but really, Al, it's been a game of some missed opportunities here for the Birds.
Oh yeah, and Holiday wish he had that offer back. So he kicked at the dirt after just fouling that pitch back and got a hanger. David Ross, his final year, wonder why. Getting better.
Holiday, a swing and a miss, and he strikes out. Montero to first, to Rizzo for the out. Quickly 2 away. Cardinals half of the 6th.
Only 5 strikeouts tonight, but still the Cardinals chasing pitches out of the strike zone. Adams 2 for 2 and now 4 for 8 off of HAMMEL.
Single to center, then a double in the corner and right. Ball 1. Outfield extremely deep for Matt Adams. Pitch count very low for HAMMEL. It's only at 79 with this delivery.
Segrist warming up the Cardinal bullpen. Activity for the Cubs. Grimm and one of the 2 lefties. Richard.
Three balls, no strikes. So Clayton Richard, the lefty. Justin Grimm from the right side. Swinging the bat well, turn him loose on 3-0. 3-1. Kevin Segrist had been throwing in the Cardinals' pen. Cardinals, the way it sets up, it's got a chance to be a dominant pen for 6 months. Full count on Adams. Segrist, Rosenthal, off to great starts.
Well, I think Mike Matheny had an outstanding bullpen last year. And I agree with you. I think it's got a chance to be better this year. Seagrass has come up with a pitch that hopefully will neutralize the left-handed batters. O's a great addition. Broxton the whole year. Rosenthal coming off his 48 saves last year. Need to get, I think Bowman's going to be a plus, and we need to get Seth Maness back, getting his good sinker working. Amazing how good he was at getting ground ball double plays, but a little rough in spring, but he had troubles last year too.
Adams strikes out. It was 3-0, and Campbell comes back to get him. 2 in the inning, 6 on the night. We head to the 7th. Cubs on top. Score in the top of the 7th here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis.
How about Montero? Last pitch. Now look at here. He's going to shake off, shake off, shake off. Wants to go to the slider. Maybe the final pitch of the night for Hammel. Make it a good one. And look at Montero. Pretty happy with that. Make sure your starter feels good leaving a ball game. And it is his final pitch. Chevy called the bullpen. Kevin Seagrass, last year led the National League in appearances. He's already got a couple wins, the vulture out of the bullpen, but he is one of the top setup men in the game and a bright future for Kevin Seagrass. Oh, did his job, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Couple of strikeouts, scoreless inning. Here's Javier Baez. There's only 4 teams in the game who have a bullpen keeping their opponent hitting under 200. 2 are in the National League, both playing at Busch Stadium tonight as Baez squared to bunt, pitch up and in, and he's hit.
Sounded like wood, but he sure acting like it hit him. He just came off the disabled list on Friday, you know, with a thumb injury, and now it looks like maybe the wrist. You could hear it up here, couldn't you?
That may not have been the bat we heard, may have been bone. But I agree with you, we could hear it up here. Ouch, that's the wrist. So Baez will stay in the game. And the leadoff man is aboard. 2-1 Cubs.
Baez, another very valuable utility guy, play all around the field and in the outfield, the infield and outfield.
Fowler has walked twice. He has struck out.
I think they were, I think they're trying to see if it hit the bat and then the wrist.
I
hit
think
the knob.
I think David Bell just said it's 50-50, reading his lips to Mike Matheny.
It's late enough. But, maybe it's what I heard, the bat, hitting the bat, and then the deflection into the wrist.
Let's listen in. So Mike Matheny can ask the crew to take a look at this, and that's what they're deciding right now. It may have hit the bat and then the body, which then would be a strike. Maybe got the knob of the bat.
Right, that's what I thought.
And then hit the wrist.
Painful strike, maybe.
I'd say.
Another quote from Madden where he said, "This is baseball. This is a game and it's entertainment. Simplify things and play the same game regardless of the date on the calendar." You play every single day. You can't put too much emphasis on one series over another. You just play every game, take them one at a time, all the cliches, but that's the best way to play the game. And we talked a little bit about how you said, he likes to have his players loose, have fun, take pressure off them. Foul ball. Right? Didn't we say that? Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to make him come back. And Al, you said it perfectly. That's a tough strike.
Well, we heard it, such a distinct sound that it sounded like it was the bat. But I got to be honest, when I see that replay like there, I think it just hit him in the wrist. But if you hear the sound, it sounded like it hit the bat, and then the deflection hit him in the wrist or the body.
And I got to be honest, the more I watch replays, then I start disagreeing with the first replay I saw and everything else. Start watching it over and over and over. So strike one on Baez. And the ball clearly hit him, but apparently hit the knob of the bat, so strike one. Siegrist has appeared in 6 games prior to tonight, 5 2/3, and opponents only hitting .056 against him. What a weapon.
He's so good at retiring right-handed batters, and now he's come up with a breaking ball to get the lefties out. So I expect him to have even better stuff.
And that's the pitch that could really neutralize a hitter as well over the years that we've seen Kevin Siegrist. Good fastball, but outstanding changeup.
Yes, and he really sells it. He really hides the ball well also.
And an 0-2.
He feels he can throw that changeup at any time, but he didn't really want to throw the changeup to the left-handed batter. So, they had a little advantage of fastball away.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. From being at first base to now being in the dugout. Tough game.
Clock strikes right there. That's Kevin's first strikeout, first batter he faced, and 3 in a row by the bullpen.
Kubota power stats and its strikeouts in particular with the Cardinals bullpen. Rosenthal, Siegrist, and Seung-Hwan Oh. Here's the top of the lineup in DEXTER, FOWLER. Pair of walks and a strikeout. The Cubs have struck out 10 times tonight. 7 from Jaime Garcia, 2 from Oh, and now the first from Kevin Siegrist. 0-2. Cubs carry an extra man in their bullpen, so their bench is left with David Ross, the backup catcher, Matt Caesar, and Tommy La Stella. La Stella hits from the left side. One and two the count. Base hit, Fowler. Man, is this guy hot. On base for the third time. His on base percentage is over 500 to start this year.
Came in at 500, and that's 2 walks and now a double. So 1 for 2. Ball comes in on him. And boy, he looked like he pulls that bat in, keeps his hands inside the ball, and just shoots it inside the right field, goes off the side wall, and he's standing there with a double.
Hayward lined to short, turned into a fielder's choice. Then it was a backhanded play by Wong that robbed him, and then he was called out on strike, so the bases loaded back in inning number 4. Hitless tonight, but he has made his presence felt with a great throw, which turned into a double play back in the 4th. Cardinals had runners at second and third. Molina up. Holiday tried to score from third base, tagging up, and Hayward turned that into a double play. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Jason Hayward. You know, the Cardinals, by all counts, made a better deal for Hayward. He turned it down to go to Chicago. And St. Louis had made the point that they were not going to negotiate in season. Knowing what you now know, you wonder if the Cardinals take that stance, if they try to maybe put a little pressure on he and his representatives, get him to come back to St. Louis.
I thought it was mutual, that neither one wanted to negotiate during the season.
Cardinals said they were open for business.
Yeah, they were open.
Yeah,
but Hayward wasn't.
Here's the play defensively as Molina hit it to Hayward, got in a great position to throw, and threw an absolute strike to the plate. One hop, and Holiday was out.
I tried to slide by the home plate. That's probably the one place now that you could slide head first. You never wanted to slide head first with the old rules because you'd be running right into a shin guard, you know, with your hands. But now when the catchers have to give you a lane, some people think it's maybe better to go directly right to it, where he tried to slide by the home plate and touch it on his way by. I think it was out either way.
Coming into last season, the talk about Hayward against lefties is that he struggled against them. He had hit 197 the year before. 2-2 pitch, lined into left, could be 2. Caught, throw to second, safe. Man, Hayward has hit some tough luck.
Oh, he sure has. He's done his job defensively. We know he's a 3-time Gold Glove winner, but he's hit at least 4 balls right on the nose in the 2 games and nothing to show for it. Well, Holiday is right there, unloaded it, tried to get Fowler to double up. Very close play, but he gets back.
Now Chris Bryant. Crowd tonight 43,841. 43841. Two outs, runner at second. Bryant lifts it high in the air. Center field. Grichuk makes the catch. Time to stretch. 2-1 Chicago. A home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is the new pitcher for Chicago, right-hander Adam Warren, who was picked up from the New York Yankees. Pitched in college at North Carolina, and the Cubs are really pleased with what they've seen so far. They felt this would be a key part of their bullpen. Jason Mott signed a 2-year deal with the Rockies. They wanted to improve this aspect of their team, and they think Warren is a good bridge to get to their back into their pen.
He's got some experience with the Yankees over the last 4 years. Last year he was 7-7, 3.29 ERA, 43 games, 17 starts. So it's just 28 years of age.
Here's Randall Grichuk, 2-1. First pitch, little squibber, hit up the first base line. One pitch, one out. Randall is 1 for 3. Calling all bobblehead collectors. Trevor Rosenthal ready to join your collection. Saturday, April 30th, 30,000 fans ages 16 and older take home the Closers bobblehead featuring a sound chip courtesy of the Hartford. Visit cardinals.com/promotions. Molina tripled off the wall and left. That scored Grichuk with the lone run for the Cardinals back in the second inning.
We talked about missed opportunities. Remember, they had base hit by Adams, base hit by Grichuk, and Adams left too soon from second, trying to go to third, and they picked him off. And then Yadi hit the triple.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Just everything's been a little off. The base running, you know, the starting pitching, fielding definitely, and a lot of hitters chasing breaking balls out of the strike zone.
Cardinals had runners at second and third back in the fourth. Nobody out, did not score. Molina with a fly ball hit down the right field line and out of play. Sad news to pass along. Bill Pappas passed away today. He was 76. Remember, he was 1 pitch away from perfection at Wrigley Field. 3-2 pitch to Larry Stahl, called a ball. He did get the no-hitter. Bruce Fleming was behind the plate that day.
Yeah. Silver Fox. Milt Pappas.
Two and two.
And when I was late in my career, he always looked at the sporting news and the back page to give the obituaries, and he'd say, well, that guy was a coach, 3 years ago. This guy was here or something like that. Now you don't read that anymore.
And that swung on and missed, and a strikeout. First strikeout for Warren. Cardinals have struck out 7 times. Plaza Tires Fox Tracks.
I've seen a lot of Cardinals swinging at pitches out of the strike zone. I said yesterday that the bullpen was their Achilles heel for the Cubs. It hasn't been this yet, and guys like Warren and Cahill and some of the other newcomers out there are trying to heal that problem. Rondon, the closer's been good, but it's still early.
Wong had a runner at third, 1 out back in the second, struck out on 3 pitches, was hit by a pitch, stole his first base of the season, then left stranded in the 5th. Three and 0.
Only down by 1. Need base runners.
Wong is due. There's no doubt about that. Looking for his first extra base hit of the season. 3 balls, 1 strike.
He's got the count he wants. Say it again. He told me that he feels like he's very close.
And he draws a walk. So the tying run is on for the Cardinals. 2-out walk to Colton Wong. Cardinals will pull back to Otta and bring in Aledmys Diaz. While the defense has been at times poor for Diaz, the offense is not. Ball is really coming off his bat, accelerated rate. Just seems, you know, you always talk about a guy that which the ball jumps off his bat. Certainly that's been the case here with Diaz. And he's done damage with extra base hits as Chris Bosio has the slow walk out to visit with his pitcher. By the time he will get there, he has got 14 seconds now to talk to his pitcher. Grimm and Wood are ready.
And a lot of times Bosio, I think, is recognized as one of the best our best pitching coaches now. The job he's done, the friendly confines, and he's a good hard-nosed pitcher in his own day.
Threw a no-hitter at one point in his career with Milwaukee. So 2 outs. Runner at first, Colton Wong, and here is Aledmys Diaz.
He had a game-winning home run as a pinch hitter.
It was in a 4-4 game against Atlanta. His home run made it 5-4. The Cardinals hit 2 more pinch home runs after that, and 3 on the night, made baseball history. Just had 1 appearance as a pinch hitter. It was that home run. 2 outs, runner at first. And a strike to Diaz. Cardinals underneath the stands have a couple of batting cages for these guys to get loose. Stationary bike. TV is in there. The video room is just a few steps away. Pinch hitters come in ready to go.
Or they're just not picking up that slider, are they?
No balls and 2 strikes.
Ball jumps off his bat. That pinch home run was to left field, and see, they're just going to keep the ball away from him.
The 1-2 pitch to Diaz. Two and 2. May see that slider again.
He has a count in his favor. He can, and late in the game, sometimes I know Bob Gibson hated to have somebody throw inside late in the game where a home run could beat you. Threw inside off the plate. But
there's that slider again, full count.
He's doing a good job now laying off it.
Well, you get a ball in the gap with the speed of Wong, you would have a chance to score. The Cubs, though, very, very deep in the outfield.
Well, you get one to the wall, and with Wong's speed too, it's the right gap. He still could score, and Diaz can run also.
3-2.
Good job laying off another breaking ball.
Boy, that was close. Back-to-back walks. Runner in scoring position, and Piscotty will be the pinch hitter. Just a little bit low.
Yeah.
Late in the season, Stephen Piscotty delivered with a double in the gap in right center against the Cubs that won a game for St. Louis and basically knocked any chance for the Cubs to get a sniff of first place. It's a key hit in that regular season of 2015.
Well, and then he came into the postseason against the Cubs and hit 3 home runs.
First runner in scoring position since back in the 4th. There's the slider again, taken low and away. That's the pitch that he's been pulling off of as of late.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I mean, he was struggling on this homestand, so giving him a little breather today, and now coming up with a key opportunity, just relax.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Wong, the runner at second.
He was so good last year with runners in scoring position.
Here's a 1-1. I always say you may get one pitch in an at-bat to hit. That may have been the one there for Stephen Piscotty.
And it's such a difficult task. Coming off the bench cold, been sitting there for a couple hours, then you get the one shot. It's usually a job that you have a veteran player that's been around a long time, but the Cardinals have got a lot of mileage out of the kids.
On 1-2, the next two, Piscotty. Warren comes in, he strikes out 2, the Cardinals strand 2. We head to the 8th, 2-1 Cubbies. Cubs. Tying run at second base. The strikeout, second of the inning for Warren. And the manager's reaction.
Not to show too much, but boy, this game is of emotion. It's really difficult for both managers. Broxton will take over. Chevy called the bullpen. His 6th appearance. Last time out, he gave up a run. But that was the only blemish on his season so far.
Wound up being a key run that he gave up. Cardinals were down by 3 after that solo home run by Jay Bruce over the weekend. And then they got a 2-run homer from Moss as a pinch hitter, lost by 1. Here's Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo is 0 for 3. Aledmys Diaz stays in the game at shortstop.
Interesting that Mike Matheny did not leave Segrist in to face Rizzo. and then bring in Broxton. And yet he was pinch hit for it too.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Day game tomorrow, off day Thursday. Then we head out west, San Diego over the weekend. And next weekend, Arizona. Then back home. Spoiled by Rizzo. It's grounded out to second. Popped out to third. Popped out to Matt Adams at first in foul territory. Cubs have struck out 10 times tonight. And the key hit, a single with 2 outs, bases loaded from the pitcher Jason Hammel. That scored 2. That's the difference. Here's a 1-2. A 2-2 pitch to Anthony Rizzo. On its way. 3-2. Jaime Garcia, 5 innings tonight. Struck out 7, did walk 4. Sungwon Oh, a scoreless 6th. Segris, a scoreless 7th. Oh struck out 2 in his 1 inning of work. 3-2 pitch to Rizzo. And he walked him. Leadoff walk. Big day for the kids coming up. 15 and younger entering with a ticket receive a 28-inch Randall Grichuk bat courtesy of Rawlings and a voucher valid for a free ticket this season. That's courtesy of Ritz. Also stop by the Ford Plaza prior to the game for a Prairie Farms ice cream sundae. That's all coming up May 1st here at Busch Stadium. Jorge Soler walked and scored back in the 4th. He struck out twice. Rizzo has about a 2-step lead at first base.
He thought about it as Rizzo took that secondary lead after the swing and miss by Soler.
You notice he takes about a 2-step lead, but as you mentioned, Al, that secondary lead, he starts really going with momentum. A couple of big hops towards second base, and Yadi thought, especially with a right-handed hitter up, got him down at first. Nothing in 2 the count. Broxton would love the double play. Outfield is straight away. And the 0-2 pitch. Instead of check on Rizzo.
Yeah, Rizzo had 17 steals a year ago, and sometimes, you know, it's those real short leads that you'll fall into a trap. Assume that he's never going, and then, like you say, with that good secondary lead, he gets a good jump and off and running, catch you flat-footed.
It reminds me, and I was about to say that, of Yadier Molina, who will catch a defense napping, and he also does, Rizzo, delayed steals a lot.
Well, I know you've heard me say this 1,000 times, but Joe Ferguson was an outfielder, catcher, very slow of foot, but he said that he felt like every player or a slow-footed guy should be able to steal in double figures just by catching teams that are falling asleep.
Very short lead again by Rizzo, and a strikeout of Soler. First strikeout for Broxton, and that's 11 tonight. for the Cardinals pitching staff.
Soler 3 strikeouts tonight, and he's a free swinger. They struck out over 1,500 times last year, the Cubs did. Lead the baseball in strikeouts.
It's back-to-back years they've done that.
Soler had 121 strikeouts in 101 games.
Now Ben Zobrist, who has walked, singled, and scored, and fly to left. Takes a ball inside. Talked to Jonathan the other day. Said it's a forkball he's throwing, especially to lefties. He's got the slider and the fastball. Forkball, a little different, obviously, than the splitter.
Forkball, you jam back into the webbing of the fingers, so it takes the velocity off it.
And the 1-0 pitch.
And the beauty of it is, you know, it's a changeup, even if it doesn't go down a lot. If you can get the combination of reduced speed plus the downward action, then you got something special. They used to throw the forkball more. Then they came in vogue was the split finger fastball, which was out more on your fingertips.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals have the top of the lineup due up in the bottom of the 8th. And because of that, lefty is getting loose. That's Wood. Also Pedro Strop. Cardinals have Carpenter, Hazelbaker from the left side, then Holiday. Left on their bench, Jed Jerko, Eric Fryer for St. Louis. They've already used Moss, Piscotty, and Diaz. May see the lefty start the inning, Strop finish it. A 2-1 pitch. That's hit down the right field line, hooking foul. I think it's going to be interesting out when it's all said and done, the numbers for Starlin Castro. The second half of last year, he got on fire.
Yes, over 400.
The big reason why they got into postseason play, and they give a player in his mid-30s, Zobrist, a 4-year deal. Trade Castro, had issues at shortstop, but seemed to be a much better second baseman.
It's a 4-year, $56 million contract to Zobrist.
2-2 the count. Broxton off the mound, steps and throws, gets Zobrist. Rizzo advances to second base.
That really was Broxton's only play. It would have been very difficult for him to get Rizzo, so make sure you get an out, and the only one he had available was at first base. So 2 outs now, and Rizzo out of scoring position. Right off the end of the bat, goes out here, but he would have had to turn and foul. I mean, really, Rizzo didn't really get by there along, but I have no problem with him going to first.
This is Montero, who will hit against Jonathan Broxton. These two saw each other a bunch in the National League West with the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Montero is 4 for 14 against Broxton. You could go with the lefty here. Cardinals have used Segrist. Could bring in Lyons to face him, but then Joe Madden could counter with David Ross, his backup catcher.
Mike has confidence in Broxton to get through this inning because Lyons, who pitched 2 innings yesterday, but only 19 pitches, very efficient. You know, it's not warming up. Used to be you'd never worry about pitch counts or what you did yesterday. You've got a responsibility to be ready today.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. The 6th plate appearance for Chicago. with a runner in scoring position tonight. Damage was done back in the 4th.
Now they're going to put him on. Try to get him to go after a couple pitches, fall behind 2-0. Now just put him on.
They'll deal with Addison Russell. This will be the 6th walk Chicago has received. First intentional. Russell is 0 for 3. He's fly to right. Struck out twice.
He had 149 strikeouts last year and 475 at bats, but still very young and is going to be an outstanding player.
His glove got him to the big leagues, but they think he can hit.
Oh yeah.
2 outs, 2 on. Strike 1.
Third youngest player in the major leagues, right?
Nationally.
Nationally.
He is 8th overall. The Rangers have a 20-year-old. Nomar Mazara. He's a 20-year-old and the youngest player right now in the big leagues. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. And the 0-1 pitch from Jonathan Broxton. And the Cubs have something unique here too, Al, and the fact that they keep 8 in their bullpen.
Yeah,
and only 4 on their bench. So talking about guys going back to back or pitch counts, it is a deep bullpen in terms of bodies. Broxton, he has it. Flips to Adams. Cardinals coming up with the top of the lineup in the bottom of the 8th. Holiday bats third. 2-1 Chicago. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. Please drink responsibly. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. Saw Travis Wood pitch in the 8th inning last night. Went 2/3, struck out 2, gave up a hit. It's part of our Chevy call to the pen. And in that game, game 1 of this series, Wood did face Carpenter, who did double inside the first base line, that struck out Hazelbaker, who's on deck. Then Pedro Strop came in to face Holiday, and that may be what we see here.
Yeah, already his 5th season with the Cubs, longest tenured player.
First pitch is knocked out of play. Wood has a couple of different breaking balls. He'll drop in that slow curveball for the get me over variety, and then much sharper breaking ball. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Carpenter. Fastball there, 0-2. Carpenter tonight is struck out, grounded out, flied out.
I think hitters would tell you he's sneaky fast. You get away with that slow breaking ball because he kind of jumps towards the hitters, eyes the ball well.
Here's the 0-2. Up the middle, base hit. That time Carpenter ready for the fastball. The tying run is on. Go ahead run comes to the plate.
And it looks like that'll be it for Travis Wood, as Joe Madden will make the slow walk, but got a fastball up over the middle of the plate, and boy, he took it right back up the middle.
So an 0-2 mistake by Wood. First Cardinal hit since back in the 4th. The double by Adams. Pedro Strop coming on, and our Chevy called to the pen. Pedro Strop. He has been dominant so far this year. Opponents hitting just 118 against him. This is appearance number 7 already for the Cubs right-hander. Certainly in this situation, you think about the bunt with Hazelbaker, who is 0 for his last 14. Very good bunter. We saw earlier this season, he dropped down a bunt that was just to be a sacrifice, turned that into a hit with his speed. And he looks at a strike. Grounded back to the pitcher. He struck out, grounded out to second.
Took out the left-hander to have the righty face Hazelbaker.
Hazelbaker's numbers actually better against left-handed pitching.
Just like to see him do something here, because you know he's in a little tailspin after a great start, and you don't want him to get down on himself. We'll see something positive here.
Short lead at first. The 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike.
One thing, Pedro has not walked anybody this year. That was what you were talking about. 429 against lefties, 303. He's been in a little funk right now.
So it may play into why Joe Maddon made this move. Right-hander against lefty. Holiday on deck. The 2-1 pitch. Two and 2 the count. Matt Caesar, by the way, took over for Soler in left field.
Got a defender. And they got Strop in Soler's spot in the batting order. Double switch.
Short lead at first, a 2-2. Cardinals have struck out 9 times tonight on the heels of 14 in game 1.
You can see how they're really working enough pitches inside, and then you saw an off-speed pitch down and away, just perfect location and expand the zone.
Holiday 2 for 5 against Strop with a walk and a double. Tonight 1 for 3, single to left back in the 4th. Outfield is deep. Matt with 21 home runs in his career against the Cubs, most against any opponent. Hit .450 against Chicago last year. .1-0 pitch to Holiday. Strop may have gotten away with that pitch. When he's right, it's a devastating slider, middle outer half. A lot of those right-handers chase that. Mixes in a very good fastball as well. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Backed up on him.
Yeah.
Taken inside, 2-1. Here's a 2-1. Chopped left side. Bryant gets it before the short hop of the stretch by Rizzo.
That ball would have bounced. Bryant would have had trouble on it. Came in on it the way he should have. Be aggressive. He's a big guy to reach all the way down to his ankles and get that ball. And very nice play right there.
So again, the Cardinals with a runner in scoring position. Chris Bosio, the slow walk, out to visit with Strop.
It appears that they have Rosenthal and Bowman warming up.
Reminder that this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the content descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals.
Shift on for Matt.
Randall Grichuk on deck. Adams trying to tie this game up or put the Cardinals ahead. Adams is 2 for 3. Single to center. Doubled into the corner and right. First double this year. And then struck out back in the 6th. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Strop to Adams. 2-0. reaction you hear, folks watching the Blues game. And they're not cheering for the Hawks.
I was hoping it was going to be something upcoming here off the bat of Matt Adams, but
you know, they may be pitching around. Yeah, they're going to walk Adams here intentionally. And to me, it makes sense because of the slider and because Grichuk has been susceptible to that pitch. Take your chances with Randal Grichuk.
It's just like the Cardinals, what they did. You know, you throw a couple balls up there off the plate and see if the hitter will be free swinging to get himself out. You fall behind 2-0, then you go ahead and pass him intentionally. But you're absolutely right. But you know, Danny, all these decisions that managers make, they're predicated on the execution of the player. You can make all the right moves, and if the player doesn't execute, you know, you end up losing the game. And sometimes, you know, you make some crazy decisions and they end up working for you.
2 on. Here's Randal Grichuk. There's the slider. Strike 1. He may not see a fastball in this at bat. Grichuk single to left, scored in the second. Popped out to second with 2 runners on back in the 4th. They grounded back to Warren, the pitcher at the time, in the 7th. The 0-1. Ooh. 0-2.
Been lucky where a couple of these have just stayed inside, backed up a little bit, don't hang out over the plate. And we talked about Grichuk, you know, with the bad slider pitcher in Atlanta is what he really needed, because he was chasing so many pitches. You don't want one right down the middle. You want that bad one.
Strikeout of Grichuk. Cardinals have struck out 10 times tonight. They strand 2. They have left 7 on. They decided to pitch to Randal Grichuk. The move paid off. And we head to the 9th. 2-1. Cardinals live. Brad Thompson will be with us. Jim Hayes as well. All the post-game reaction. It's all coming up. Missouri Lottery, Cardinals live. Matt Bowman takes over for the Redbirds.
Young man, a Rule 5 selection from the Mets. Last year is at Las Vegas, and in the Pacific Coast League, he led the league in losses. But the one thing about him is you know, when he's healthy or when he's throwing right, he's getting ground balls, a lot of double plays. And the Cardinals didn't really think of him as a starter. They like him as a reliever. And from what the early goings, what we've seen of him, he's a keeper.
Chicago 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position tonight. Cardinals 0 for 7. They've had a man at second base the last 2 innings. Couldn't drive him in. Get that key hit quickly. 0-2 on Matt Caesar.
appears that he's not in awe of the major league scene.
And a strikeout of Caesar on 3 pitches. Bullpen so far with 4 strikeouts.
Kind of turns back there and you see his back, so he kind of hides the ball. Hitters like to see in the release point, and the more you can keep that away from him. His 93, 94 because of his deception looks a lot faster.
1 ball, 1 strike. Dexter Fowler, 2 walks and a double. Left stranded back in the 7th. Bowman telling me that the hardest part of making this transition to the bullpen is just trying to figure out how to get ready. Only 2 appearances out of the pen in the minor leagues last year as he was used as a starter, as Al told you, in Vegas, AAA affiliate of the Mets.
Small ballparks there. The ball really flies in Las Vegas. Very difficult to really gauge how good a pitcher is. You look at all those great arms they got in the Mets. And they all had bad numbers there also.
1-2. Good changeup by Bowman. Strikes out Dexter Fowler.
Well, he really sells it with that motion too, where it comes out of the same arm slot as his fastball, and then it just disappears.
Cardinals have returned the favor in terms of strikeouts. That's 13 tonight in the lineup for the Cubs. Hayward very easily could have 3 hits tonight. Instead, he is hitless in this series. Fastball swung on and missed.
Hit 2 balls hard last night that came up empty.
Nobody on, 2 outs. Shift is on for Hayward, the 0-1. Now 0-2.
This will be another big step forward for Bowman. Come into this game down by 1.
And he gets the ground ball. Backhanded by Wong, and he makes the play. We have seen walk-offs against the Cubs before. David Eckstein back in 2005, the squeeze play to score Hector Luna. Can we see another one tonight? We're about to find out. 2-1 Chicago. bobblehead collectors, Trevor Rosenthal, his bobblehead is ready to roll for you, courtesy of the Hartford. That'll be Saturday, April 30th. Just head to cardinals.com/promotions for tickets. Rosenthal is set to go if we see the 10th. Hector Rondon. He was a Rule 5 pickup. Chicago got him back in 2012 from Venezuela. Molina has tripled tonight. No balls, 2 strikes.
Rondon he had 30 saves a year ago, 29 the year before that. Ended up with a 1.67 ERA, but after the All-Star break, it was 1.1.
Molina, base hit into right. Cardinals will probably pinch run from Molina here. We'll see. And indeed they will. We've noticed that Eric Fryer not only has swung the bat well, he's 6 for 6, but he can run a bit.
Nice going, Yadi. Always see comfortable when he takes that pitch to right field. Second hit, he got the only RBI for the Cardinals.
So Fryer is your base runner. Here is Colton Wong. Looking for that first extra base hit. Would this be a nice time for it? Wong with the first pitch, fly ball, left field, sees her over and makes the catch. One away. Back to the bag at first goes Fryer.
Just hoping that ball would reach the stands, but foul territory, but the catch is made.
Aledmys Diaz walked his first time up back in the 7th.
He almost was ready to overrun it, has to reach back, and you can see how close it was to being a foul ball. Where's Bartman?
Left on the Cardinals bench, Jed Jerko. Diaz pinch hit for Ruben Tejada in that 7th inning. Cardinals have stranded 7 tonight. Diaz with a fly ball into right center. Fowler is over for out number 2. Our Budweiser player of the game is Jason Hammel. Not only did he deliver with a 2-out bases loaded hit that scored 2, but he also in 6 innings gave up 5 hits, 1 earned, walked none, struck out 6. And the Cardinals bench is done now. This is Jed Jerko trying to extend this game to Carpenter.
Just like it's planned, 2-run home run, and you don't have to worry about no bench players.
Cardinals down to their final out. Strike 1. The Cubs 2 strikes away from setting up what could be a potential sweep, the final game of this series tomorrow. Fryer back to the bag at first.
Jerko has the power, and we've seen the slider just looks like it's not real sharp. He's got underneath it a little bit.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Jerko yanks it foul.
Just out in front on that one, but that slider just doesn't have the bite on it right now. But he's 2 for 2 in save opportunities, and 1 out away from his 3rd.
The 0-2. And again, the Cardinals will put the tying run in scoring position. They have done that now in the last 2 innings.
They've had the opportunities. They lost Holiday at the plate. Bounces way up in front of the plate, and The wild pitch sends Fryer to second. No matter what happens during a game, if you're coming to the last bat, you still have a chance to win a game. You know that. Still got that exciting ball game. Everybody on their feet.
Outfield is deep. A base hit could easily tie this game up. Can Jerko deliver? The 1-2. Spoiled.
'97 with a fastball.
One-two pitch. Tense moments early in the season. The 2-2.
Three straight fastballs. So a pretty good pitch here. Down and away, and it's a nice job to keep the bat alive. And an 85-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch, or you get the 97 fastball.
It's another 2-2 to Jed Jerko. He strikes out. Cubs will look for a sweep tomorrow. St. Louis on the night, strands 8. They had the tying run in scoring position in 3 consecutive innings. It couldn't bring him in.
Couldn't get the key hit, and of course the key hit was off the bat of the pitcher, a breaking ball that Jaime threw to HAMMEL, and he drove in 2 runs, the only runs the Cubs got tonight.
Cardinals struck out 14 times last night, 11 tonight, and the Cubs look for a sweep tomorrow. Rondon gets Jerko to chase. Ball game over. 2-1. Missouri Lottery postgame show next.